Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chalavet Movies. My name is John and this video is going to be about what movies I've watched in the month of April 2021. Now I want to talk about a film that I forgot to mention in my what I've watched in March video, which I did last month, and it was a film that I totally forgot that I'd watched in the month of March, and it was a film that I thought I'll give it a shot. I didn't even see the first incarnation of this movie. I did know that this thing existed, but I didn't know it would ever come out in any shape or form. And actually, for it to be free on Sky Movies was absolutely ridiculous, because I thought it would have to be something they would have to pay for, as you usually have to pay for everything to do with Sky Movies. More about that in a minute. So this movie was watched at the end of March 2021, and it is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, me and my wife watched it in two parts actually, because it's obviously 4 hours long, so we didn't have to spare 4 hours to watch this movie with. And I must admit, I did really like it. I don't really watch many DC superhero movies, because usually when I watch them, I do find I'm very disappointed with them. I've heard bad things. I haven't really watched anything from Superman v Batman. I didn't watch that one, but I didn't watch that one. So this one, it was like a kind of not really expecting much from it, and knowing that the other one was meant to be a complete disaster. The only thing I remember from the last one was I did put it on briefly for 5 minutes, and as soon as I saw Superman's moustache, or the lack of it, wow, that was enough just to put me off the whole film. Didn't go near it at all. But anyway, this one here, we did have an excellent time with it. It's probably the best DC movie I've seen in a long time, and I did think the performances from most of the characters in here was quite good actually, and it was a decent watch, and it was nice to get it free. So the first movie that we watched in April wasn't free, and it was Godzilla vs Kong. Now this was we did want to see this, and I was under the misconception that my son was actually bought it for it, and I thought, oh, we can watch it, but he hadn't bought it. He actually bought it at his girlfriend's house. So we said, well, we're going to have to pay for this. So I watched this one. I must admit, this was on the end. This was after I did my marathon 8-hour stream with Jason Brett on his channel. I'll leave a link down below to Jason Brett's channel. And I did doze off in the middle. That wasn't due to the fact of this film being bad. I just had to close my eyes for 5 minutes. Didn't miss much, but I did really enjoy this film. And also, straight away after that, the next day, I watched Godzilla vs Kong again. If you pay £16 for a film, you want to get your money's worth out for it. To have a film, pay £16 for it and only have it for 48 hours, shame on you, Sky Movies. Never mind, that being said, I haven't paid any money to get into a cinema for about a year, so it doesn't matter in the scheme of things. But I do think they could give us a lot more time with it. Never mind. The film itself, I do think, is a really good entry into the Godzilla/Kong universe. I did think it was the best one I've seen from the recent resurgence in Godzilla. I know a lot of people talk about Godzilla 2014 being the best one. I can't really remember that. I've got it. I will need to rewatch it again. I will get the 4K of it, because I've heard good things about the 4K. And I do need to get. I've got all the other ones on 4K, but this is much better than Godzilla King of Monsters, in my opinion. And I did think that Kong was great in this. I did think the people in this were much better than they were in Godzilla King of Monsters. The action was absolutely brilliant. Not going to go too much into it if you haven't seen it. Obviously there was a massive spoiler in here, which was pretty much everybody knew about going into the film. We all knew how it was going to kind of work out, but I'm really glad that they did a good version of Godzilla. I think it's probably the best, in my opinion, the best version of Godzilla done in this brand new monsterverse that they're creating at the moment. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I'm really interested to see how it goes to the next level. What is the next installment of Godzilla going to be? But me and my wife really enjoyed this film, so I can't recommend it highly enough, and I will be getting on the 4K as soon as it comes out. Absolutely brilliant. Probably just going for a standard release on it, but just to keep it in line with all the other ones I've got up there. Because as we all know, uniformity is king. So next I watched from 88 Films, Humanoids from the Deep. Now this film is from 1980. It's an absolutely beautiful picture quality on here. You get a lot of stuff in here. You get reversible covers. You get art cards. You get a poster as well. So it's well worth the money. If you can see this with a slip as well, I urge you to get this. The film is crazy. in a fashion, it's one of those films you could only make in the 1980s. It's about these sort of genetically sort of created humanoids that want to go out and procreate with females in the human race, because that's just what they want, isn't it? Well, that's the premise of the story anyway. But it's a bit of a crazy movie, but I did really enjoy it. And like I say, this is the best version I've ever seen of this film. I've got the American one, but the American one hasn't got the 4K restoration that this has. Absolutely brilliant. Really, really well recommended for both the film and the packaging as well. So the next film I watched was a film that I did actually, funny enough, I did know the twist in this film, but I thought, just for some reason I thought I'm going to check it out. So I went and got it from Amazon Prime for free, because Sky Movies were going to charge us about £3. I thought, I don't think so. So it is 2009's Orphan. And the film, even though I knew what the sort of surprise was in this film, I did think that it was an absolutely brilliant film. I thought, I have got to get this on Blu-ray. More about that in a minute. So I had a great time with it. The picture quality on the Amazon Prime was absolutely brilliant, so I knew it was going to look good. And I did get a lot out of this film. I did think it was a good modern day horror film. It's got some good sort of creepy elements into it, and it's also got a great little story, which I believe, I'm led to believe, is kind of based on a true story as well. But it's highly, highly recommended. That's Orphan. The next movie was a film that me and my wife decided to watch after a lot of putting off. We had this sort of lined up for a long time. We didn't get into it, but we just thought, well, why not? It's there. And it is Vacation. I believe this was released in 2015, I think. And it is the sort of update on the National Lampoon's Vacation saga. And it follows Rusty, who is the son of Clark Griswold in the original film, who does actually do a cameo in here. I've got to admit, he's looking very old and very portly, but he's got Rusty takes his family, he's got a bit of a strange family, it has to be said. It's the son here is great. He's a little bit shy. This kid here just says outlandish stuff, and some of the scrapes get into was actually really funny. There was a couple of great scenes in here that made me and my wife in absolute stitches. We love Ed Helms anyway from The American Office and other films, and also Christina Applegate is one of my favourite actresses from the Married with Children series, which is absolutely brilliant. So some of the scenes, like I say in here, are a little bit mad, to say the least. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong to this family when they set off, as it did with the other National Lampoon Vacation films. One of the standout scenes for me is when they're going to go to probably the next place on their journey, and somebody says to them, you can go and there's a spa. I think we're going to some kind of like a spa area, and this guy says to them, if you go over there, you can go to this spa that nobody knows about. So he sends them up to this pond. Well, in this pond, they think it's full of, mud, the sort of mud that they have in there that's very good for you. I'm laughing just thinking about it. Dear God. Wow. Excuse me. So, what happens is, I can't. So, wow. So what happens is, they go across to this spa thing that they think is full of this nutrient, like soil, not soil, mud that they can sort. When you see them in the films when they go into these like spas with this healing sort of mud, and they can get mud packs and all that. What they do is they go to this place, and especially Christine, she's they're spreading this stuff all over the face. And she's going, this is so good. But what she's doing is, it's just a chemical waste, and it's just shit in this lake, and they're just rubbing it all over themselves. And then when they realise what they've done, they're thrown up and everything. It's absolutely brilliant. But this whole scene of what, and they're picking condoms out of it and everything. Oh my God, it's so funny. I've got to admit, it's just one of the best things I've seen. The whole film's funny. It's got the same sort of flavour as the Vacation films did back in the day, and I love them Vacations to a certain extent. They were a bit bad towards the end, but I highly recommend this. Like I say, I couldn't even begin to think that scene no one would not laugh at that scene. It's absolutely hilarious. Wow. So a change in tack a little slightly. I can't really laugh when I'm going to review a horror film, can I? This film was gifted to me by on a subscriber mail by my good friend Carlinio 9. Link down below. He's a great guy, and he said, would I like to see this film? And I said, yeah, yes please. So he sent me over a couple of films, but one of them was Relic. So I watched, there's my son coming in. So I watched this film, and I've got to admit it's a strange film. It does have a sort of air that's a little bit sort of a film in two halves. It takes a very dark turn towards the end, and then it kind of resolves itself in a fashion. I'll have to watch this again, and I do kind of get it, although I didn't get it at the time of watching it, but after reading up a little bit about it and why it was kind of inspired by, I did find it was a lot made more sense on reflection. But there's some very uncomfortable scenes in with the lady here who's got dementia, and it's about her struggle with dementia, but it takes another turn when the house becomes this sort of strange entity. It's a very hard film to explain without giving too much away, but some great performances in here, I've got to admit, and I did enjoy it. So thanks once again, Carl. Very good film. So the next film I watched was a film called Pathology. Now I got this in One Below for £1, and to be honest, I think I paid £1 too much. I can see that it was a decent film, don't get us wrong. The gore in here is absolutely next level. I've never seen gore like it actually in a recent film. And the autopsy scenes in here, I've got to admit, they look real. It's unreal how they've done these autopsy scenes. But the film itself, I've got to admit, the thing that didn't really connect with me was the fact that none of the people in this film are likable. Even the kind of the star of the film, he's a bit of a so-and-so. All the people he's in this sort of meds sort of class with / people who work in the mortuary, they're all dislikable people. They've got a dislikable lifestyle. Everything they do is wrong, and even the guy who's the sort of the hero, he's like an anti-hero, but he's not a good anti-hero in any way. It's a confusing film for that, but it didn't really sort of cut it with me, get that. And I did think that it's if you like an old gory film, it's all right, but I just don't like the fact that there was nobody in this movie to actually like with or side with. So the next film was a film that's, weirdly enough, is Orphan. I went and bought this from CEX with a sole sort of view to watch it again, obviously, but to get my wife to watch it. Now, after a little bit of persuasion, she did actually watch it. She did like it, but she did also was petrified by it because she doesn't like jump scenes. There's quite a lot of jump scenes in here, which I've done quite well actually. And I just had to see this movie again. I had to own this movie, and I wanted to watch it with her to see what her reaction was to the actual, because she didn't know what the twist was, and I wanted to see her reaction to that. And she went, oh. Funny enough though, she was saying some things at the start of the film which I thought she's quite close to what this is about, just in the way she's looking at it, especially about the girl and how she looked. She was saying a few things, but anyway, she did enjoy it. And there's a special feature on here where you have an interview with the young girl here, and she couldn't be further from this character in real life. She's such a angelic, sort of youthful, fun-going, sort of shy person, which is nothing like this character in here. So that's quite a good bit of acting from this young girl. But do highly recommend this if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to go into any more details about it, but you will have a blast with it. So the last film that we'll watch was a film that my wife had looked at and says, I think I would like to see that. I don't think she knew exactly what the film was about, and it is Unhinged. Now, this was on Sky Movies, and I knew it was going to come on Sky Movies. It took a long time to. And we sort of, I went in knowing that it was going to have a little bit of brutality in it, and she was a bit shocked by that. Some of the things that happened in this movie, she was a bit stunned by. But I do think that Russell Crowe, for once, recently, hasn't done much that excited me. But this is a great film, and I do think it's a great standout performance from him. He does. I think I like about this is because you find out this. Usually, some of these films just have these people get on the wrong side of this person with road rage, but there's a lot more to it than that, and it does explain at the start of the film why he is the way he is, which you don't really get in films usually, but they do explain the fact of, you know, what made him flip, and if she'd only given him a courtesy beep, this could have ended a lot better for this this person. But is the fact that he's so intent on making her day the worst day that she's ever going to have in her life is a fascinating film. And I think Russell Crowe's actually, he's a great actor, I'm not saying he's not, I just think he should pick his films a little bit more carefully, because if he does films like this more often, I think a lot of people will get more out of his work than they have been doing for recent times. I used to watch his stuff all the time. I really liked the Romper Stomper film when he played Hando with the skinhead, which was absolutely brilliant. But I don't think I've seen many things of his stuff that set us alight recently anyway. Okay, so that's what we've watched this month, in the month of April 2021. I had a good time with most of the stuff. I haven't watched as many films as usual because I seem to have been, for some reason, like ultra busy with YouTube, which is great, and that's sort of, you know, when you're putting time away for that, it seems to sort of have a knock on of when you watch other things as well. So thanks for watching, you take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.